Autumn Johnson for NCAA Digital, here to share my revised Sweet 16 predictions. I think we can all relate to the fact that our March Madness brackets have been busted by the dark horse teams, causing a plethora of upsets. So I'm going to give you my new Sweet 16 picks, my Final Four selections, and then share my championship team towards the end. So let's go ahead and get started with the Greensboro region. South Carolina versus North Carolina. I originally had this matchup all set in stone in my predictions I made during Selection Sunday, and I still have the Gamecocks favoring over the Tar Heels to advance to the Elite Eight. As far as Iowa State versus Creighton, I did not originally have this matchup set up. I had Iowa State going up against the Hawkeyes. That did not fall through. So Iowa State versus Creighton, I'm going to have to go with Iowa State going to the Elite Eight to face South Carolina. But when it's said and done, I have the Gamecocks advancing to the Final Four. Let's go ahead and head over to the Spokane region. Stanford versus Maryland. I also had this matchup, and I'm going to stay firm in my decision on picking the defending champs over Maryland. I love how Maryland is playing right now. They have one of the best offenses in the nation. They seem healthy and are cruising through this tournament, but I'm still going to go with the depth and the experience that Stanford has. Ohio State going up against Texas. I did not have this matchup. Originally, I had LSU in that spot, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Texas in this one. I originally had the Longhorns advancing to the Elite Eight, so I'm going to stay firm in that decision as well to face Texas, another rematch that we saw earlier this season. Hopefully we will get that matchup. Texas got the best of that one, but for right now and how Stanford is playing, I'm going to go with the defending champs to head to the Final Four. Let's head down to Bridgeport. This is an interesting one. NC State versus Notre Dame. I did not have this matchup, and I wish I did because Notre Dame is blazing as of late, having one of the best offenses that we've seen in this tournament. They went up against Oklahoma, and that's who I originally had in this matchup. But for this one, I'm still going to stick with NC State advancing to the Elite Eight. And for Indiana versus Uconn, I had this matchup originally set, but I'm going to stick to it. I'm going with Indiana over Uconn. I love this experienced veteran group who brings back the same squad that they made an Elite Eight run with. And I love how Uconn is playing as of late. They had a scare against UCF, but they look healthy. Their offense looks incredible, paced by AZ Fudd, who is stepping up as a freshman, Kristen Williams taking on that leadership role, and then Paige Beckers. She's starting to get in the swing of things, and I think we can see her come alive, especially being in the Bridgeport region with those fans in attendance for the Huskies. And I think that will play to their advantage, but I still love Indiana and the defense that they play. They have 5 1,000-point scorers in their starting lineup. I think this was going to be a really great one, and I'm going with the Hoosiers. I know we will see how that plays out, but I'm going to stick firm in my original selections for that one. But in the Elite Eight, I'll have NC State going up against Indiana. When it's said and done, I have NC State advancing to the Final Four. Now, finally, I'm pretty sure everyone got this region wrong with the dark horse teams that have been storming as of late that cause a plethora of upsets in this region. Louisville versus Tennessee. I did not have this matchup. I had Oregon originally in that spot, but I'm still going to pick Louisville to advance to the Elite Eight. Michigan and South Dakota will be a fun one. I did not have South Dakota in this line. I had Baylor, who was going to go all the way for me for the Final Four. That did not happen. Baylor got stunned in the second round to South Dakota, who is now in their first Sweet 16 appearance. And I love how the Coyotes are playing as of late. They have a trio of fifth-year seniors who are very dominant, poised, calm, and collected, running and executing that offense. And then Hannah Shrevin down low has been neutralizing the bigs. She has went up against the best in Alyssa Smith and Shakira Austin. If she can do that with Naz Hillman, I love the Coyotes advancing to the Elite Eight, and that's what I'm going to go with. Now, as far as Louisville going up against South Dakota, I think I have South Dakota's run ending right there, and Louisville will advance to the Final Four. When it's all said and done, we now have South Carolina in the Final Four, Stanford, NC State, and Louisville. Now let's get into my Final Four picks. I still have 3 out of 4 of those original teams that I originally selected. So I'm going now with South Carolina going up against Louisville. I'm going to have to go with the Gamecocks favoring in this matchup to advance to the championship round. Stanford versus NC State. I'm going with the defending champs to face South Carolina. And when it's all said and done, I have the Gamecocks hoisting up that national championship trophy. That wraps up my Sweet 16 predictions. We will see how that all plays out starting on Friday. But until then, make sure you follow along on NCAA.com, NCAA Women's Basketball Social, and our March Madness app.